Hey everyone, welcome to Conversations with Teresa. I am your host, Teresa Aline, and as always, I am very excited to have you here. I have a question for you. When was the last time you truly felt rested? Not just that you went to sleep the night before and you woke up, but like truly rested. The kind of rest where your mind is quiet, your body feels calm, and your spirit feels restored. For a lot of people like me, that question is really hard to answer. And part of the reason is because many of us were taught something about rest that sounds a little like this, whether it was um, explicitly or implied. Rest is something you earn. You work hard, you push through, you finish everything on your list, and then you're allowed to rest. Rest becomes the reward at the end of productivity. But culturally, especially for many women and very often for Black women, we were taught something even deeper than that. We were taught to be strong as if rest equaled weakness, to handle it, keep going, take care of everyone else first. Rest was rarely modeled for us. In fact, sometimes rest almost felt like failure. Like if you slow down, you must not be doing enough. But in so many conversations I have with women, a realization keeps coming up again and again. Alignment requires energy. You cannot live an aligned life if your body is exhausted, your mind is overwhelmed, and your spirit never has space to breathe. And midlife begins to teach us something important about our energy. Your body starts having conversations with you that simply you can't ignore anymore. You begin to realize that energy is not unlimited, it's something to be stewarded. And if we ignore that message, if we keep living like rest is optional, there's a cost. The cost shows up as burnout, as brain fog, irritability, inflammation in our body, our joints are achy, as feelings disconnected from yourself. Your body will eventually demand the rest you refuse to give it. And another thing that comes up in conversation with women is this: even when we know we need rest, many of us don't know how to do it because rest can feel uncomfortable when we've spent decades being the reliable one, the one people call when something goes wrong, the one who figures everything out, the one who keeps everything moving. And for many women, rest can feel like you're letting something drop. But sometimes the most responsible thing you can do is stop carrying what was never yours to hold forever. Rest requires boundaries, and boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting the energy you need to live your life well. And I'll tell you something personal about this. There was a period of time when my life felt like a constant list of responsibilities, whether it was work, family, church, people reaching out because they needed some help or advice, some encouragement. And I'm that kind of person who genuinely loves showing up for people. But I remember one particular season in my life when I completely felt drained, not just tired, but I was empty. And the strange thing was, I don't know if it was really strange or not, but like nothing dramatic happened in that time. It was just an accumulation of constant pouring out, constantly pouring out energy, like answering questions, solving problems, just being present for everyone. And I remember having this quiet realization. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but I realized that no one had actually asked me to do all this stuff without resting. That was something I had internalized. I put that on me. And somewhere along the way, I had absorbed the belief that being strong meant always being available or always being capable or always able to push through. But in that season, I realized something really important. Strength is not measured by how much you can endure before you collapse. Real strength is knowing when to step back and to refill. Because the truth is, the same people we want to show up for deserve the very best version of us, not the most exhausted one. Another thing midlife begins to reveal is something something like a younger version of us could easily ignore. Energy is not just physical. There is mental energy, there's emotional energy, there is spiritual energy. And sometimes we think we are tired because of our schedule, or yeah, because of our schedule, but we're are actually tired because of what our mind has been carrying around all day. Whether it's the worry, the decisions, the constant thinking about everyone else or everything else, midlife begins asking a different question. Where is my energy going? Because once you begin asking that question, you start making different decisions. You begin protecting your peace. You begin noticing what restores you, and you begin letting go of things that drain you. And that opening question becomes important again. When was the last time you truly felt rested? Because when we talk about rest, many people immediately think about sleep. Sleep matters, it absolutely does. But real rest is much broader than that. Sometimes rest is silence. Sometimes rest is movement, a walk, a stretch, dancing. I know me and my friend, we used to go to Walmart and not even buy a whole bunch of stuff, just to go, and it was like our time, right? But that's when I was rested, when I was with her. Sometimes rest is just laughter with people who refill your spirit. Sometimes rest is prayer. Sometimes rest is simply sitting long enough to hear your own thoughts again. Real rest is anything that returns energy to you instead of constantly taking from you. And when you begin building rest into your life intentionally, you don't crash nearly as often. And this may be one of the biggest mindset shifts of all. For years, many of us believed strength meant pushing through. But midlife begins to show us a different kind of strength, the strength to listen to our bodies, the strength to slow down when something inside of us says we need to, the strength to stop performing productivity for the world. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. And wisdom is one of the gifts midlife offers us if we're willing to receive it. Because women are not tired because we're weak. We're tired because we have been carrying too much for too long. Again, the responsibilities, the expectations, carrying everyone else's needs. And somewhere along the way, we learned to treat rest like it was optional. But your body knows better. My body knows better. My mind knows better. My spirit, it knows better. Rest is not the reward for finishing life's work. Rest is part of how we stay whole while doing it. And when we begin to rest intentionally, something powerful happens. We think more clearly. You move more wisely. You begin making decisions that are actually aligned with who you are now, not who you were 20 years ago. That's the real shift. Midlife isn't asking you to do more, it's asking you to live with greater wisdom about your energy. So maybe the real question isn't, have you worked hard enough to deserve rest? The better question is, what kind of life am I building if I never allow myself to experience it fully? And sometimes the most aligned decision you can make is to pause, it's to breathe, and to let rest do the work it was designed to do. So if this conversation resonated with you, if something inside you is realizing it's time to live differently in this season of life, I want to extend a personal invitation to you. I got something great for you. On Saturday, May 23rd, 2026, we're gathering women for the Aligned Women Conference. It's a space created for women who are ready to pause long enough to listen to themselves again. Women who are ready to protect their energy, rediscover their voice, and to step into this next chapter of life with intention. Because midlife is not the end of your story. For many women, it's the moment where they finally begin living life on their own terms, on your own terms. At the Aligned Women Conference, we're creating a room where women can reflect, learn, laugh, and walk away with clarity about who they are now and where they're going next. I've learned something powerful over the years. Transformation rarely happens in isolation. Sometimes it begins the moment you step into the right room with the right conversations, surrounded by the women who are choosing to grow. So, if something in this conversation, in this episode, helped you and spoke to you today, I want to encourage you to follow that nudge. Join us for the Aligned Women's Conference, Saturday, May 23rd, 2026, because the life you are meant to live in this next season deserves a version of you that is rested, clear, and fully aligned. And this may be the very moment where your next chapter begins. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly felt rested? Have a great night, and I look forward to seeing you at the conference.